Just 5 years after the end of World War II, the United States was launched to a war between North and South Korea. This war was known as the Korean War. It lasted approximately 3 years, and other combatants involved included the Soviet Union and China. The Korean War was not simply a war between two nations. It was also an intense struggle between the ideals of capitalism and communism. The outcome of the war largely shaped the relations between the Korean nations as well as the United States and the Soviet Union. The tensions between North and South Korea are still high, with leaders on both sides looking for a solution.
On July 27, 1995, the Korean War Veterans Memorial was first opened to the public near the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The memorial was made possible through the efforts of private contributions and organized by a board specially appointed by President Reagan called the Korean War Veterans Memorial Advisory Board. It was dedicated by President Clinton and the President of Korea at the time, Kim Young-sam.
The memorial commemorates the lives of the 5.8 million Americans who served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. The monument encourages the viewer to visualize the struggles and sacrifices made by both American and Korean men and women through the engravings and statues present. The memorial recognizes the 35,574 American lives that were lost, as well as the 8,200 listed as missing and the 103,284 who were wounded in hostile conflict. There are 4 major parts of the memorial, each displaying certain aspects of the war and rhetorical strategies of the creators. The design of the memorial caused a minor controversy due to the fact that the winning team of artists had their original design changed. A design competition was won in 1989 by a team from Pennsylvania State University. However, after the design was changed during the approval phase of the project, the team filed a lawsuit and lost and decided to remove their names from the project. The final design was made by Cooper Lecky Architects.
The central element of the memorial is the 19 statues of soldiers in the war. Sculpted by Frank Gaylord and Talix Foundries, they are approximately 7 feet tall and consist of 14 Army, 3 Marine, 1 Navy, and 1 Air Force officer. The statues represent the racial diversity of those who served, as each statue depicted a different individual, whether they were white, black, Latino, or Korean. This allows a diverse audience to identify with the people who fought in the Korean War. Along with the portrayal of this ethnic cross-section of America, the audience can see the various emotional expressions on each soldier's face, inciting a sense of empathy and gratitude in the viewer. The statues stand in patches of juniper bushes and are separated by polished granite strips, which give a semblance of order and symbolize the rice paddies of Korea. Within these strips, the troops wear ponchos covering their equipment, which appear to blow in the cold Korean winds. This enhances the realism of the portrayal of the war, effectively conveying to the audience the harsh conditions soldiers endured.
Another major aspect of the memorial is the mural wall, which depicts engravings of the faces of many who served in the war. Designed by Lewis Nelson and constructed by the Cold Spring Granite Company, the wall consists of 41 panels extending 164 feet. The engravings were based on over 2,400 photographs of the war obtained from the National Archives. They were enhanced by computer to give a lighting effect in the desired size. The wall is an emotional experience for both the veterans and the visitors. One veteran mentioned that he could identify one of the fellow soldiers he knew during the war in the mural. It is highly reflective and creates the illusion of 38 figures by mirroring the statues, which refers to the 38th parallel, the site of the ceasefire boundary between North and South Korea, as well as the 38 months of the war. As the viewer focuses their attention on the engravings, they can see their own reflection in the wall. The fact that we can see our faces among those of the soldiers allows us to understand that they sacrificed their lives so that we could be free.
The Pool of Remembrance, located at the east end of the monument, provides a peaceful space for visitors to reflect upon the sacrifices made by Korean War veterans. The pool is circular, split in the middle by a walkway and granite wall that reads "Freedom is not free," which reminds visitors of the cause the soldiers fought for and the price they paid for. Along this wall, there is a curve that lists the numbers of soldiers killed in action, missing in action, or who were prisoners of war. Water feeds in from the bottom of the pool and spills over a stepped weir, which creates a pleasant rippling sound. Surrounding the pool are 28 linden trees, divided in the middle to symbolize the division between North and South Korea that still exists today. The trees shade 7 benches surrounding the pool, placed so that visitors can sit and reflect.
Added after its original opening in 1995, a computerized honor roll kiosk stands at the west entrance to the memorial. Behind the Pool of Remembrance, there is a dedication stone. It is located underneath the American flag, which is at the tip of the triangular space where the statues are. It reads, "Our nation honors her sons and daughters, who answered the call to defend our country, they never knew and a people they never met." The personification of the United States in this quote adds to the poetic nature of the dedication and emphasizes the way Americans acted as one to help the South Korean army defend against the North. Similarly, the pointed nature of the stone creates a sort of arrow leading to a quote near the remembrance pool that reads, "Freedom is not free," thus portraying this concept as a takeaway from the memorial. This quote is an American idiom that is used to express gratitude for the military in defending personal freedoms.
What's your favorite part of the memorial? We're wondering, what does this memorial mean to you personally?
To me, it means pretty much why I'm here now. If it wasn't for doing what they do and presenting the freedom that we have now, I wouldn't be able to do the job.
What job do you do?
I'm a recruiter now. But before that, I was a military police officer within the Army. Then I transitioned straight to recruiting. So I get to recruit young ladies and gentlemen just like you guys into the Army.
That's really cool. Thank you. And we're also wondering, what's your favorite part of the memorial?
I would say that piece right there. It's an actual reenactment of what actually happened in Korea. So, how they stood, actual figures, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Overall, the Korean War Veterans Memorial honors the many American soldiers who fought in the Korean War. Through visual symbolism, it also tells a story of division, reflecting the way many nations around the world were in conflict. There are multiple emotional and logical appeals present in the memorial, as well as appeals to credibility. In terms of pathos, the reflective imagery involving the visitors and the emotional expressions plastered across the faces of the soldiers provides a sense of empathy and gratitude for the sacrifice embedded throughout the war. The numbers of soldiers who were prisoners of the war, killed in action or missing in action, appeals to the visitor's sense of logic. The credibility of the memorial is bolstered by two separate factors. Firstly, veterans visiting the memorial describe their approval of the structure and ambiance of the commemorative nature of the monument, with some stating the recognition of certain soldiers in the mural wall. Secondly, the memorial was dedicated by South Korean President Kim Young-sam and American President Bill Clinton, which demonstrates that both nations approve the memorial and believe in the importance of the structure. The Korean War may have been between North Korea and South Korea, but it represented a greater struggle between communism and capitalism, as well as dictatorship and democracy. The memorial effectively commemorates the death and tragedy that occurred in the Korean War through universally impactful inscriptions and imagery. Because of this timeless memorial, generations of visitors and veterans will experience the continually relevant legacy of the war.
Yes, ma'am. I just want words of encouragement to all of you out there and all of you here. Never stop asking questions to men in uniform, women in uniform, men and women that has a hat on that says veteran, because their stories are worth hearing. They're well deserving to hear, and it's our job to listen.